Ugh, bean dust is the worst. Good morning. Well, I was just out here in our grain shed updating the computer, some of the records. Since we're hauling these loads all into town, we've got good weights and moistures and everything from the elevators that I'm putting into that spreadsheet just to help keep track of things by field and total bushels and all that stuff. So I was catching up on that. Phil hauled in that semi-load that we had from last night. I was going to do that, but he said he had time, so he's going to do it. We're kind of waiting for stuff to dry out a little bit. We didn't get any rain, but just the heavy dew last night made the soybean stubble in the ground over there where he disked last night just a little bit sticky, too sticky to plant wheat, so I'll give it a couple hours and he should be able to do that. We'll have to wait for the beans to dry out, probably be noon or so before we can get started combining. So this morning, I think Dad and I will pick up a little bit more irrigation pipe and keep working on that little project. Well, that's good. All right, well, Dad and I broke apart and piled up most of the rest of that pipe. It's all broke apart. We piled more than half of what was up there. So maybe tomorrow morning we'll take up the the pipe trailer and pick the rest of it up, and that job will be done. For me right now, it's a little after 11. It's still a little bit too early to start combining beans. We did have a pretty heavy dew this morning. So I'm going to run and get something to eat, and I need to go to the bank. And then when I get back, we'll probably get started. All right, I'm back getting ready to, I'm getting the combine ready. Check the oil. Hydraulic oil level's good. Engine oil is good. Okay, here's the field we're going to. We're going to back into this driveway right here. Dad's bringing the head. It's behind us. All right, we got to hook up our PTO and the hydraulics, and we should be good to go. Okay, we are running again. I had to get my monitor reset back up since we switched monitors last night. A few things were off in the documentation side of it, so I think I got that where it needs to be. We're gonna run off these ends real quick. Dad's gonna pull the header cart in the field. Can't see him in the mirror there, but he's there. And I'm gonna ride back to the farm with him and get the grain cart. Grain cart. All right, back to the combine. And when you climb up here, there's some green ones out there. We'll see. It would appear we have a tree to clean up. That one's in the soybean rows, so it's fallen since planting. I don't remember it being there when I sprayed fungicide either, which means it's happened since the 1st of August. These back end rows aren't very good. They've got foxtail and weeds growing in it because they were thin. Well, there's a few spots like this scattered around this field. This one's probably the worst one I've been through so far. But my average moisture says 12.4, which I'll take that every time, and there are some dang good beans out here. We're running 60, 70. Once we get our average, get into some acres and average up the crappy end rows from the back there, these may be really good beans. We're already over a 50 bushel average, so I don't know, we'll see. All right, well, I got another tank load. I did 2 rounds with no end rows, and that's usually the first decent indication of how a field's gonna go you get. So our load totals on those 4 acres, almost 60 bushel beans, 11.7 moisture. It's full. Those beans look good. They're pretty clean. They don't see the green ones in them that we had the other day. Combine says 11.5. Well, that's good. So Phil is here with the semi. He's going to unload that grain cart and haul this load in. We'll check again to make sure that the grain cart and the combine and all the moistures and yields and whatever match, but we're pretty close. All right, we're getting towards the end of this field here. I've got about 10-11 acres left. We are gonna go down here to the end and make that pass along that grass over there where some of the greenest ones are, and see how bad they are. But we're at 11.2 average, so we're gonna blend them off, but I want to do them before they're the last ones. You may recognize this low area over here. That is some of the stuff that we mowed down back in July, I think it was, end of July. My jungle video. Those are some of the willow trees that we left. Mostly just along that edge. Got a little bit more in this area, but over there they're dry. 15, 16. It's not terrible. All right, we are just about finished up. Got a round and a half or so up here in the front to do. Phil is back with the semi. That first load tested, I think he said 11.5, 11.6. That's good. That's what the combine said. And it appears Dad's over there with a pickup to help me move to the next field. Also good. All right, well, here we knocked out a quick 35 acres. We'll move on to the next field. These ones, average moisture 11.8. Yielded much better than those other beans did that we did yesterday. 53.3, and our combine has been about a bushel low so far, so we'll see what the scale says, but that's good. Mid-50s, I'll take that every time right now. I don't have my leaf blower. I'm gonna have to go brush that stuff off the feeder house. Well, here's the next field. I think they're ready. I think they'll be okay. All right, so I've gotten started here. The beans are pretty good. I had a draper belt speed sensor warning come up on one of our new draper belts here, and something's bunched up here. It's not right. I don't know if it got a little loose because it's stretched, it's being new or what, but we're gonna take this off and look and see if we can't figure out what's going on before we wreck a brand new draper belt. Okay, so I got a little bit of stuff apart and we've got a problem. This channel is supposed to slide on this rail. It's not supposed to sit on top of it like that. That's it clearly jumped out of there. It must have gotten loose and it made this roll or rub on that, and I mean, it couldn't have done it. It happened and I shut it down instantly as soon as the message came up because it was slipping the belt. So I don't think we hurt anything permanently, but we've got to get that back in place. And there's a lot of tension on it right now. It actually doesn't look like it's out of adjustment, but I think it's because it jumped like that, and we've got to loosen it, put it back in place, and then I'm guessing we'll have to tighten it up quite a bit. All right, so I got that back in. That's how that's supposed to work. There is some wear on it, but I don't think that caused the problem. I think it probably just got loose. These new draper belts, they're gonna stretch when they're new and you first put them under tension. That's my fault. I should have checked it after the first field or two. I mean, we haven't done that many acres. We're just over 100 acres, 120. But yeah, definitely I should have checked it. My fault. So fortunately, no damage, no significant damage anyway. We'll get this tightened back up, put it back together, and we should be good to go. Okay, belts are tightened back up. At first I thought it just popped out of that groove and slid forward, but that wasn't the case. And you can see how much that engages there. I mean, it really, there's no reason that it should come out of there unless it got loose enough that this roller kind of pulled forward and was able to jump up when it got on an angle there. So should be good. Remind me to check that again and keep an eye on it. Okay. I am gonna double check the other draper belts. The center one, there's not as much room to stretch, so I expect it to be okay. And they said to judge that by this bolt being flush with this side. It is, so we're good there. We'll check this other one, although we didn't replace it, so I don't expect it to have stretched as much. And fact, that one is kind of on the tight side, but in the green, so we're good. While we're out here, I thought I'd look and see what we're leaving on the ground. There are beans on the ground. There are a fair number on the ground. Here's the problem. If you look over here where the combine hasn't spread yet, just behind the head, they're here too, which means they're not getting passed through the combine. It's header loss. We aren't getting them into the combine to start with, and I hate that. I hate it. But that's the problem with super dry beans. When these beans get ultra dry like this, you know, where these are 9.5%, 10%, the pods are so brittle that they crack open. You get a lot of shatter loss at the header. And some of these pods, because of our dry weather this year, they're right down here on the ground. Like, I don't know. Here, hold on. You know, this pod's maybe an inch off the ground, and that's pretty hard to cut no matter what your head is. You know, there's one right there. And so a lot of that is the stuff that we just can't get them. And in fact, look at that. There's already a bean laying on the ground, and the combine hasn't even been here yet, where sometimes pods will split open and stuff when they get really dry too. So I don't think there's a whole lot I'm going to be able to do about it right now. Keep it on the ground as tight as possible, and we'll do the best job we can. Yeah. Probably the best thing we could do, and what all of you are going to tell me, is to buy an air reel. So there's a system that some aftermarket companies build, where they'll put a bar on the front, right in front of the reel, like right up in there, and they'll have fingers that come down and they're curved, and they blow air right on top of that cutter bar to help blow the beans into the head on top of the belt instead of falling off the front of it, which is what's happening. And that would help. I'm 100% convinced it would help. It is not going to happen for this fall, but maybe at some point we can. Our draper belt's good. And there's that squeak. Sometimes that squeak is there, sometimes it's not. Still haven't figured out what it is. See, it's 5 seconds later and now it's gone completely. Weird. But anyway, we'll keep going. We've got a little front field here. There's about 12 acres in. We've got almost 5 done. And then we'll jump back across the lane there. These are good beans. These are really good beans. So something to show you that about that cutter bar and how it keeps it on the ground. So this head is what they call a Hydroflex head, and basically it's got little hydraulic cylinders under it that control how much that head will flex as it contours and follows the ground. This number right here, this 1020, 30, that's kind of the pressure in those cylinders. And this is about as low as it ever runs. You'll see there's a little line right here with an arrow. The arrow is where it's set. We're right at the bottom of the graph. I can control that here with a dial and turn that pressure up and down. But the higher the pressure, the less it flexes. And so normally in soybeans, you want to run it as low as possible. The problem becomes when we start having wet, damp conditions, or our residue is damp. The head will actually start pushing some of that stuff, and you'll get piles, and that can be a problem too. So then you can turn that pressure up a little bit and get it to not put quite so much pressure on the ground, and it floats a little bit better. And so yeah, but then you sacrifice your cut quality a little bit. But anyway, we're doing the best we can. We get her turned all the way down, and we'll shave them off pretty good. All right, got the front field done. Beans keep getting better. 61 average almost. That is good. Hopefully the ones back there are even better. They've looked better. I mean, these all look good, but. All right, I got the end rows opened up on this backfield here. Oh, there's Mom. I thought Phil was bringing me a truck. I'm gonna get the grain cart unloaded before we empty into it. You guys, these beans are phenomenal. Look at this. That hasn't dropped below 70 in the last half of this field. They're dry and they're incredible. Also, I picked up a rider. Say hi.
Hi.
This is my mom. She does not ride very often, but that's okay. We're close to home, so she saw me out and wanted to come ride. All right, well, there goes Mom. She rode with me for a while. We've got this grain cart full. So I'm gonna go unload what I can and fill that truck. gonna get much. And then we can probably make another couple of rounds, and then we'll have to go get another truck. Look what we got, guys. That's a rock. For the most part, this head does a really good job of gliding over the rocks, and once in a while you'll get one. It was just a little one, but they'll sit right there in front of this little stone dam. You know, that would be bad if it ran through the combine, but it doesn't happen too often, so that's good. But while we're out, we're going to take this opportunity to dump the stone trap. So at the top of the feeder house, right there, there's a door with a little cavity behind it. It's the rock trap area of the combine. So we open this and then get out of the dust. And then look. Sometimes there'll be a rock in there. Most of the time you'll hear it. I have not heard any. I didn't expect any, but I like to dump it every day or two to just clean it out and make sure there's none in there. Ugh. Bean dust is the worst. All right, well, no rocks in there. Well, the truck's full, and the grain cart's full, and the combine's full. Well, almost full. Full enough I can't do another round. So we're gonna take that semi-truck, back to the farm over there and grab the other semi-truck and empty the grain cart and then refill the grain cart. Tell you what, auto shift trucks sure are nice. We're just gonna park this on the pit. I doubt we're gonna unload it here. We'll probably haul it in the morning, but we're just gonna park it, take that truck. No auto shift in this one. I'll wait for the air to build. The test weight on our beans must be a little better over here because it says we got well over 1,000 bushels on this cart, which is good, but I don't think they're all gonna fit in that truck. All right, so the sun is setting over there. We're gonna have a decent sunset here tonight. That also means the air's getting heavy. See the dust kind of hanging out in the distance there. The dew is starting to set in. We're gonna try really hard to finish this tonight. I don't know that we're gonna make it though. I'm starting to have issues with stuff pushing in front of the head. You see that ragged cut over there in that last pass? It's because it was pushing in the center. So I'm starting to crank up that pressure on that cutter bar, like I said. I went from 1,000 up to 1,500 there, and hopefully that will help, and we can run for a while yet, but I don't know, we'll see. It's starting to right there a little bit. And sometimes it'll work through, sometimes you gotta stop. Yeah, it's gonna. So I'll stop, back up, see that little pile. I'll just lift the head up and go over it. So we got to pay attention and watch for that. If it pushes too bad, it starts knocking the beans over, and then you can't cut them off. They just all get run down, basically. And yeah, so we'll see how far we get. Well, we're down to 10 acres to go, but I'm afraid it's time for our lights. And I haven't fixed that one on the auger yet. Bummer. I don't have it with me. I should put it in the combine, or I should put it in, but I should put it in the combine so that when I'm pulled up to the grain cart like this, I could actually install it. Oh well, we'll get it. We'll be fine for tonight. I may actually run out of room. In fact, it's looking quite likely that I'm going to run out of room to put beans and not be able to finish this tonight. Which is kind of a bummer because I wanted to get it done. But it's not the end of the world. We could dump a truck into the overhead if I really wanted to, but it would save me half an hour tomorrow maybe. So we're still, like, I don't have a ton of beans that are ready right now. So whenever we're full, we'll just shut her down for the night. Yeah, dusty. Dust is hanging. I just topped off the grain cart. Got empty, but we've got a little over 6 acres to go. I don't know that they're all gonna fit, but if they don't, we'll be within like 2 acres, so we'll see. Depends on how accurate the total number of acres in the field compared to what we harvest is, and how good these beans are. And this side of the field is not quite as good. You can see from our map. Let me make a bigger one. This is where we started. They were very good over there. They're falling off a little bit, but we are still at a over 60 bushel average, so we'll see. We're gonna make it. See that orange light flashing? That's telling me my grain tank is more than 3/4 of the way full. And we have a round and a half to do after we get up. This is the 3rd round that I've done on this grain tank. Means we ain't gonna make it. Bummer. Can't even see out past them. Yeah, there's not much left, a couple acres, but we ain't gonna be able to finish it. So I'm gonna park the combine and we'll finish it tomorrow. It won't take long. It's not gonna be a big deal. For the record, it is a good thing that all these beans did not fit on the grain cart, combine, and the trucks. That means there's lots of them. I'm not upset. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here since that's it for tonight. So we had a good day. Oh, let me add up how many acres we did today. 92, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. 100-acre days should be pretty doable. We're not running the grain cart in the field. You know, it's not like I got somebody dumping on the go, so that slows us down a little bit. We did have to move. We didn't get started super early, and what is it, 8:30 now, so we're quitting kind of early. But the beans I mean, it's pushing on me, so it's fine, no big deal. But yeah, that's good. So we will go again tomorrow. We'll finish this field, and then I have 2 more fields that I think will be ready to go. The one we're going to go to next has some of the same 2.2 maturity beans that were the ones that we started with the other day. This field here that we're doing now is actually a 2.7, so they're quite a bit fuller seasoned bean. And that field tomorrow is 112 acres, so that ought to keep us busy there. Tomorrow morning we're going to haul these beans in. I assume Phil might take a load. I'll probably take 1 or 2, and I'm sure he's going to want to keep planting wheat. He did go do that field that we finished earlier today. He got that planted already, so we're doing good. Fall's going well so far, and these beans are better than what I was anticipating, I guess, and we're still at a 60 bushel average in this field, which is awesome. So anyway, have a great night, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe buttons for me, please. Questions and comments, leave them in the comments section down below, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.